The blizzard did not arrive gently. It came like a living thing, roaring out of the mountains, swallowing the sky, erasing roads, trees, and hope in a matter of minutes. In the middle of that white chaos, one man stood knee-deep in snow, holding a child to his chest, watching a helicopter burn in the distance and believing, truly believing, that some rescue's change lives in ways no one can ever predict. If you believe in kindness, in second chances, and in the quiet power of doing the right thing even when no one is watching, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone you care about, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this exist because people still believe humanity matters. His name was Daniel Harper, a widowed mechanic living on the edge of a frozen town most maps barely remembered. Life had narrowed for him after his wife's death, shrinking down to cold mornings, long hours in a repair shop, and evenings spent caring for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Lily had not spoken a full sentence in almost 2 years. Since the accident that took her mother, words seemed too heavy for her small chest to carry. Doctors called it selective mutism triggered by trauma. Daniel called it the quiet that haunted their home. Every night he tucked Lily into bed with a gentle smile, pretending he did not notice how silence had become her only language. The day of the blizzard began like any other winter morning, gray, sharp, unforgiving. Daniel had just finished closing the shop early when he heard it, a distant, uneven thunder cutting through the wind. He looked up and saw a rescue helicopter struggling against the storm, its lights blinking like a heartbeat fighting to survive. Seconds later, the sound changed. Metal screamed. The aircraft veered, clipped the trees beyond the frozen lake, and vanished in an explosion of snow and fire. Daniel did not think. He never later remembered making the decision. His body moved before fear could argue. He wrapped Lily in his thickest coat, secured her in the truck, and drove toward the smoke. Tires skidding over ice, wind rocking the vehicle like a toy. When he reached the crash site, the world felt unreal. Snow fell so thick it erased the edges of everything. The helicopter lay broken, half buried, its engine burning weakly, fighting the storm. Inside the wreckage, he found her. The pilot was unconscious, blood streaked across her temple, her flight suit torn and frozen. She was alive, but barely. Daniel worked with shaking hands, ignoring the burning in his lungs and the numbness in his fingers. He carried her out, step by step, snow biting into his face, the weight of another human life pressing into his arms. Behind him, Lily stood still, watching, her small eyes wide and unblinking. The road back felt endless. The storm howled louder, as if angry at being challenged. By the time Daniel reached the nearest ranger station, his hands were purple, his legs barely holding him upright. The pilot was rushed away by medics, her fate uncertain. No one asked Daniel his name. No one had time. He drove home in silence, Lily asleep beside him, her breath soft against the hum of the engine. Days passed. The blizzard became a memory retold in town with exaggeration and awe. The pilot survived, they said, severe injuries but alive. Daniel returned to his routine, though something had shifted. Lily began drawing again, filling pages with helicopters, snow, and a small figure carrying another through the storm. She still did not speak, but sometimes Daniel caught her watching the door as if expecting it to open. It opened one afternoon when the snow was melting and the world smelled faintly of spring. A woman stood there, pale, moving carefully, supported by a cane. Her hair was shorter than in the photographs on the news, her face marked by healing scars, but her eyes were steady and full. She was the pilot. Her name was Sarah Mitchell. Sarah had asked, until she found him. She had been told a local man saved her life, carried her out when rescue teams could not reach the crash. Gratitude, she said later, was not strong enough a word for what she felt. But when she stepped inside Daniel's small home, her attention was drawn not to him, but to Lily. Lily stood frozen at the edge of the room, fingers clenched in her sweater, eyes locked on Sarah. Something passed between them, recognition perhaps. Two souls who had both hovered near the edge of losing everything. Sarah did not rush. She did not speak loudly or demand attention. She simply sat on the floor slowly, painfully, and took out a small notebook and colored pencils. Over the next week, Sarah returned often. She brought no grand gestures, no promises. She brought time. She sat with Lily, drawing quietly, sometimes just sharing the space. She understood trauma intimately. After all, she had woken in a hospital not knowing if she would ever fly again. She knew healing was not loud. It was patient. Daniel watched from a distance, hope and fear battling in his chest. Lily began sitting closer to Sarah each visit. She started pointing at drawings, tapping colors, making small sounds that were almost words. One evening, after Sarah left, Lily tugged on Daniel's sleeve and whispered something so soft he barely heard it. "Daddy." The sound broke him open. He cried in the kitchen long after Lily had gone to bed, grief and gratitude twisting together until he could no longer tell them apart. Sarah did not stop there. She discovered Lily loved the sky, loved watching birds and planes overhead. Sarah began taking Lily to the small airfield once her doctor allowed it, letting her sit in the cockpit of a grounded plane, showing her how controls worked, how fear could be faced gently. Lily listened. She absorbed. Her silence slowly loosened its grip. Months passed. Lily began speaking more, first to Sarah, then to Daniel, then to the world. Her teachers noticed. The doctors were stunned. Daniel felt like he was witnessing a miracle built not from grand sacrifice, but from simple, persistent kindness. Sarah eventually returned to flying, though never quite the same. She visited often, staying connected, becoming family in a way no one had expected. On the anniversary of the blizzard, Daniel took Lily back to the frozen lake, now thawed and calm. Lily held his hand and spoke clearly, confidently, telling him she remembered the snow, the fire, and the moment she saw her father save someone when it would have been easier to turn away. Just before this story ends, I want to ask you something important. Please take a moment to comment below and share what kindness means to you, or a time when one small act changed everything. Your words might inspire someone who needs it today. Daniel never thought of himself as a hero. He still fixed engines, still worried about bills, still missed his wife every day. But he learned something the blizzard had tried to bury. When you save someone, truly save them, you do not just pull them from danger. You create ripples that move outward, touching lives you never imagined. Sarah saved Lily not by repaying a debt, but by seeing her pain and meeting it with patience. Lily saved Daniel by finding her voice and reminding him that the world still held light. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe even a little more in humanity, please like this video, share it, and stay with us by subscribing. Your engagement helps keep stories like this alive. Sometimes, the greatest rescues happen long after the storm has passed, quietly, in the spaces where broken people choose to care for one another.